of insecurity, raising the call for speedy implementation also of the police reform bill as a solution to the problem. So we have joining us via Lagos studio, retired Colonel Yomi Dare, for more on this. We'd like to thank you so much for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much, Millicent, for having me.
All right. So internal security is also a very important one, and it seems that the police that is in charge of that task, that they have slightly failed in terms of securing the country, with the pockets of insecurity in different parts of Nigeria.
Well, I don't think it would be fair to say the police has failed. Whatever you are getting is a factor of what you have put in. And to a reasonable mind, we have not given enough attention to policing in this country, as far as I'm concerned.
So what more do we need to do? Now, we have this police reform bill that the House has taken a look at and passed, waiting for assent. Is that the solution? Many people have said we have so many laws, but we have not really been able to implement them. So the managers of those laws are probably the problem.
That is the question. You know, because we have so many laws, we have so many committees, we have so many task forces. But what about the character, the implementers? And that's, I think, one thing that needs to be addressed. Well, I have been privileged to have a glimpse at the police reform bill 2019, even though I have not read it fully into line. But some of the highlights that I've seen, I think what's really important here is for us, you know, to build the character, because no amount of paperwork, reform, you know, on paperwork, that will really give us the 21st century policing that we require here. And having said that, I want to look at a situation whereby, first, we need to address the fundamentals. And what do I call the fundamentals? The basics. Education. How is the recruitment process of the police? I believe every police personnel must go through the police college as a recruit. And such individual must possess a minimum of a 2-year college degree. Aside that, there's also the need, because right now we were talking about the reform. So I'm talking about, you know, bringing up a new generation of policing, of officers. But what do you do about the ones that are already in the system? You need to think about them too. I believe that the government should provide free adult education for the spouses of policemen. Once they are given this education, basic education, it will reduce pressure on their husbands, because most times they get a lot of pressure. And that's why, with all due respect, some of them go into unethical things, such as taking bribes or compromising.
This also reminds me of what has been said about education in Finland and how they've gotten it right, being the best. And that is because most of the teachers are the best, and they have degrees up to master's level. So it's interesting that you've come to say that these should be the minimum. But are these provided for in the reform bill? And another question is, are there other alternatives? Can we reform the crop of police officers that we have at this moment, or should we be looking at community policing?
Yes. Well, like I said earlier, I mean, we are looking at the reform, the new bill that has been passed. From what I've seen of the highlights of this bill, I can only see the bill addressing, you know, offenses, addressing the tenure of the IGP, which is okay, addressing offenses for individuals who impersonate, or people who assault police officers on duty, or punishment for any policeman who drinks on duty, But what I'm trying to say here is that what we require is the 21st century policing. And we cannot jettison those who are already in the system. But at the same time, we must try to refine, the recruitment process. And what we really need to do of immediate again is we have, an obvious shortage of manpower. Here is a country of almost 200 million, and we have less than 400,000 policemen. How is it going to work? With the 400,000 policemen, you also find out that over half of them are protecting individuals, VIPs. And then what's left? Who is left to police the common man?
So you would say we should take another look at the reform bill before it's finally passed?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
All right, we'd like to thank you so much, Retired Colonel Yomi Dare, for joining us on the program.
Yes, and my final word, if you care. Honestly, I think for 24 hours, the federal government should withdraw policemen attached to VIPs, and we'll have some sanity here, because it appears nobody is really caring for the common man.
All right, we'll take that as your last statement on the program. Thank you again.
Thank you.